Hi guys, it's Nicholas Chi here from Homage. Welcome back to another episode of Homage web series. We are very honored to have Madam Kamala with us today in this episode. Madam Kamala is a trainer from Caregiver Academy International based in Johor Bahru. She is very experienced in the caregiver and nursing industry. She has 24 years of experience in this industry, starting out as a nurse in the Ministry of Health to being a lecturer and also a trainer for nursing students. Welcome, Madam Kamala.
Hi, Nicholas.
Happy to have you here today. So,
Thank you.
nice. In today's web series, we will be covering the topic of caregiver burnout. So, without further ado, we will jump right in. A lot of the families are very hands-on in providing care for their loved ones who are actually experiencing medical conditions that make them less independent, and also they require assistance for their daily living activities. And after some time, these family members who are taking care of their loved ones start to experience burnout. So, actually, what does caregiver burnout look like? And is there any symptoms that we should look out for, Madam Kamala?
So, before I answer your question, Nicholas, just like to briefly give you or give the audience an idea that who are these caregivers?
Yep.
Okay, anyone who provide care for another person is actually who is in need is actually a caregiver. So this caregiver may be caring for an aged parent or dementia parent or someone with chronic illness or terminally ill loved ones. And there is another type of caregiver. These are actually they are professionals who are paid who provide care in another home. Okay. Coming back to your question of what does caregiver burnout look like? Actually, it's very hard to see them in their face, who actually are the burnout. In fact, you can look out for some symptoms of these burnout cases. And in fact, when you say a person is a burnout, actually a burnout is a person who is in a state of physical, emotional, and actually mental exhaustion. That means they're so exhausted to the extent that they're like a burnout. They just cannot function like they have been functioning prior to this. Okay, now if you say symptoms, actually the symptoms can be divided into the physical symptom, the emotional symptom, as well as some psychological or mental symptoms. Now, a person who is burnt out may not show all the symptoms, all right? They may show some symptoms or they may not show the other symptoms, but actually they are going through burnout. Okay, if you say about physical symptoms, all right, the common burnout symptom is fatigue very fast. That means they tired, they lack energy. That means they don't have that energy to get up and do something that they have been doing often or they have been doing daily. All right. Some may have the sleep problem. So the sleep problem maybe they're having some insomnia or they may be having hypersomnia. Hypersomnia is they're sleeping all the time. They tend to sleep more than the required time. Insomnia is just that they have difficulty falling into a sleep or they may get up very early and they're unable to sleep back. All right. There are some cases where you can find that they have some change in their eating habits. So some tend to eat a lot and they gain weight. Some just no appetite and they lose their weight. All right. The most common or the critical symptom that you can see in a person is they lost interest. That means whatever they have been doing previously, for example, if they like to socialize, if they like to have go out with friends, or they like to do things that they love to do, but now they just lose their interest and they withdraw from all these activities. Okay, those are some of the physical symptoms. But coming back to again the emotional symptoms as well as the mental symptoms. All right. Some even may show like decrease in interest in their work production. For example, if they're working in some homes and all, you will find that initially when they come in, they're very productive. But as days goes by, there is no interest to do new things in the area of their work. And if you see emotional symptoms, these people they lack that lack or they stop laughing. They are not interested to be joyful, to enjoy, to laugh, to sing, to dance, those kind of emotional interests diminishes as progressive. All right. And then the most important thing is they move away from their social context. For example, their normal friends, the circle of working friends, they tend to be on their own. And sometimes you'll find that when you talk to them, they always like to say a feeling of hopelessness. That means they feel that they have no passion. They they are not interested, to do what they like. They feel that whatever they do, in fact, is not giving them any satisfaction. Okay, and if you're not clever enough or you are unable to detect them, these burnt out clients may even go into a depressive state, or they may even go into anxiety levels where they have these palpitations, they fear to go out, or sometimes they fear that something might happen, Nicholas.
Yes, thanks for sharing. So, from these symptoms, it seems that it's not easy to detect, and it can also lead to very serious cases like depression, anxiety, if it's not being treated well. Um, so, from your past experience, is there any useful tips or guidance that you can share with our caregivers out there to overcome this kind of burnout issues?
We must always understand that every individual or every person who is a caregiver, they have a different reason to be burnt out. Important thing is to understand and find out the cause. What is actually giving them that burnt out feeling? I would say that for these kind of burnt out caregivers, they must help themselves and they must get support from others. So they cannot come out of it alone, but there must be somebody to support them. That means there must be some other people who give them some tips, some help, some caring words, for them to start off the day. Even you can just give a simple tip to that caregiver. All right, when you get up in the morning, you think that the day is going to be what you expect the day to be. Avoid the negative thoughts. Get up in the morning with a positive thought, because you must always understand when the thought is negative, your emotion becomes negative and your behavior will be negative. But if you get up with a positive thought, your emotion will be positive and your behavior will be a positive behavior. All right. And secondly, we must always tell these caregivers that when they care for people, they should not blame themselves. I had one client who called me, and she said she's taking care of a mom who is actually is a dementia case. She feels that she must take care 100%, take care of her 24/7. She feels that she is the best carer for her mom. At the end of the day, she's actually neglecting what she needs for herself. She do not have any space for herself. That means she spends most or all the time caring for her loved one. I don't blame her, but there is something as you must have some personal space for yourself. Otherwise, you will end up as a burnt out, because caring for dementia or Alzheimer's disease is not an easy task. because as days goes by, they tend to deteriorate. How much care you give, so they will deteriorate, because your care will be more of to progressive deterioration. So this case, she called up and she was talking to me, and then I just understand that she is so worried that some other people may not take care of a loved one like what she does. All right. So I was just talking to her, and I suggested, why can't she start off with like a few hours in a daycare? That means she can send her loved one to a daycare for about 4 hours. Then the 4 hours, she can have her own space. That means she can do whatever that she wants to do. So we brought her and the mother for like an orientation. And she started off quite well. She started off once a week only. And she used to come, she used to see how the mother, likes the place, progressing, and she participates in the activities. That gives her a lot of comfort. Comfort in that way that she feels that, okay, my mom is in a safe hand when I'm not with her. And gradually she was very happy because she was able to do whatever things that she has not been doing for herself. She was able to do errands. She was able to have some time, some social life with her friends, and then she will come back and she will take back her mom. And she is very, very happy, and she is progressing very fast from her burnt out, because basically that was the problem. Another case that actually she is actually a professional caregiver, and she was working in one of the elderly care homes, and she also called up and she said, I've been working in this place. I'm so worn out. I just got no interest. I go to work and I just come back. I don't have that satisfaction. Even when I come back home to see my family, to have some nice time or fun time with the family, I just don't have that feeling. Then she took a short break, and then she came for a special short course updates on what she need to do with the the elderly. Now, basically, what was her main problem was she was working there without knowing anything. It's just learn from what people are doing. This is what they do, I do. Without really doing, why am I doing? Am I improving? Am I giving good care? That was a question that was going in her mind all the time. So when she was taking this short course, there was lots of things that she managed to understand. To manage to understand that she need to communicate. She need to communicate not only with the aged clients, but she need to communicate with the other management staffs. She need to tell them that what are the ideas, what are the things that she need to improve in that place, and the management need to understand what are the requirements of this caregiver. So in that way, she was really very appreciative that a little knowledge that was given to her to come for a short knowledge. Actually, when she went back, she was giving very good quality care for the elderly, and she was able to communicate very well with the superior, to the staffs, to the other people. Now, why I'm saying this is, for a caregiver in a home, the management also need to understand that these caregivers can also go into burnt out. In fact, they have a lot of ideas. They have a lot of ways, a lot of new ways on how to care for, and they need an avenue, or they need somewhere that they want to talk it out. So that is very important. Okay, that is about another experience that is by a professional caregiver. Even in recent times, Nicholas, this pandemic and all, people with special children, they even call up, I'm so worked out, ma'am, I just can't go out, my children is at home. I have to take care. I really need that. I love to go and watch a movie. These are basic stuff that they used to do, but now they're so unable to do. Just a simple thing to go for a swimming with my special child, I'm unable to do. So my advice to her was, why do you have to think you have been doing such things before? Why don't you reconstruct that environment back again? For example, why don't you, let's say, okay, you were saying to me that, let's be practical. You say you love to go for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you do that at home? Create that environment. You may not get that 100% environment that you're going for a movie, but create that environment. Create, just get the grab guy or somebody, to just send you some popcorns, create that environment. That will make you very happy. So, in fact, if you say, what are the tips? It's just little things that have to identify, and with the support of the family members, definitely they can slowly come over the burnt out.
Definitely, that is very helpful tips for our viewers here. So actually, if I have a family member or a close friend who is currently experiencing caregiver burnout, what can I or should I do to help them? Should I, speak to them, understand their situation, and then get a professional help, like professional caregiver, to speak to them and consult them, things like that? What are your thoughts on this?
Um, if you identify, or there is someone, your family member or anybody for that matter, friends, you can just call them. You can just talk to them. But don't use words like this when they say, oh, I'm going through a lot of exhausted, or it will come over, you will come over. Those kind of words, actually, it doesn't help them. When they call you, they expect you to give some form of help, some form of listening that they want. So it's actually when a person calls, if somebody calls you, they have actually used up all their resources, and they got no other resource to come over this feeling, and they're seeking help. So it's your responsibility to help these kind of caregivers who call you. If you can make a visit, all right. And now there are a lot of reasons, now with the COVID-19, I'm unable to visit. Do a video call.
Yep.
Okay, definitely when you do your video call, you can see the expression. You can see how she goes through that, that feeling that she is having. All right. And when you advise these kind of caregivers, you always advise them on what they're supposed to do. If they have certain things that they want to achieve in their life, tell them to set realistic goals. For example, if they are caring for someone who is terminally ill, all right, is a caregiver who is very terminally ill, so they have to set a realistic goal that you're not going to expect the person to get up and walk, or they are not going to do what they have been doing previously. What you can do is you can make them feel comfortable with whatever care that you going to give them, and always tell them that they should not feel guilty that they have not done anything to improve the condition. That's a very important thing, because the care actually is something that you give. But if the condition deteriorates, they should not blame themselves. The condition deteriorated because my care was not given to the expectation. No, because you have given your best. All right. I have a friend who is actually, she is taking care of her mother who is actually in the stage 4 of cancer, very sad. But she is really very, very burnt out, taking care. At the end of the day, she knows that she's going to lose the loved one. But how we manage to help her burden her stress is, what we do is we take each one of us every week, we will take her dinner, we will cook for them, we will cook for the family. So we have about one day she does, out of the 7 days, 6 days, each of us will take one dinner. That means today I will take, another day another friend will take, another day another sibling family will take, and there is another sibling and another friend, so the 6 days we help her out in that way. That means she's not burdened with thinking, oh, what am I supposed to cook for my family member, and here I'm caring for my loved one. In that way, it helped a lot, all right? And we also have other social supports. For example, you have befrienders, all right? You can just tell them, you can talk to befrienders. You have the Talia Noor, you can talk to them, they can give, they listen very well, and they give some suggestions, and sometimes they also do referrals for you. They help out telling you where can you get your help, so that it's easier for you to know where you can seek that help. And don't forget, you set your own personal health goals. You have to advise the caregiver that she cannot be looking after that the person who is sick or need her care. She has to set her own personal health goals. She need good sleep, she need good food, she need to sleep, she need to have the space for herself. Then only she can take care of the elderly, or the Alzheimer's disease, or the loved one that she is caring for. But again and again, I would like to say that the burnt out individual have to be very positive, and she should accept that help that is given to her. You have to get that help from the others too.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. It is very educational, and it is important for us to raise the awareness of caregiver burnout, to prepare ourselves before it happens, and of course to help those who are experiencing it already, so that we can get them out of those burnout experiences. So for everyone out there, if you are experiencing caregiver burnout, please use the tips that Madam Kamala shared today. And if you are looking for professional caregiver services, you can call our hotline today. We are here to help you. And finally, I would just want to put a disclaimer out there. So this health information is provided for general information and educational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for professional help advice. So to seek further medical advice for your medical conditions, please do consult your doctor or go to the nearest institution to get assistance. This video only represents the speaker's view on caregiver burnout. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for having. It was great to have you with us today. We will see everyone on the next episode of Homage Web Series. Stay safe, Madam Kamala. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.